Hey, everybody. Happy Father's Day. We're here with a special members profile of Chip and Pierce Ward for IBEC. And like to thank you both for joining me today. This is a very special occasion. I don't think we've done a video before, but I will be also putting this in writing so that we can run it for the traditional ways. But this will be out there on our IBEC YouTube channel. So thank you guys for joining me.
Quite
Well, thank
welcome. Very glad to.
All right. Well, let's start off with the basics. How did both of you get involved with RCI, now IBEC?
I'll be first.
Yours is-
It was back in December of '84. Bob Lyons called me, and Bob Lyons and I both worked for Tremco back in the days before that, back in the late '70s. And we met for lunch, and we just talked about roof consulting and work and all that. And he talked about this new association that he has drawn up, and it's Roof Consultants Institute, and want to know if I should join it. And so we talked about it a while, and I said, yeah. I said, I believe I should belong to the association that's in the field that I'm going to be in. So I joined in January of '85, and long time ago. And we've, I don't know, was it I went to the first conference that February in New Orleans, and had like about 30 of us there. And it was quite overwhelming. I found that I didn't know as much as I thought, listening to some of these guys talk. And was quite informing. So that's how I got in it. Been there all along and watched it grow, and it's really taken off in the last several years. So Pierce, all yours.
Well, mine's pretty much, I think, a given. I got involved with it because of my dad. Started working for him and heard all about the association and what they did, and eventually just evolved into growing to like the business that I had started working with them in, and it's gone from there, and enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, you two, what do you do on I know that you don't have a typical day, but let's say if it was a perfect day for you, what would you be doing?
Well, I guess I'll do it in order. First thing we do is read emails and respond to emails.
Yeah.
He has been scheduled for the week, basically, unless there's something comes up. So we've always already on the Friday before, we've kind of set out a schedule for the following week. And since I don't climb on ladders anymore or in construction projects, it's all him. It's all him. So he's the legs and eyes. So I'll do proposals, I'll do invoices, and like I said, we schedule work.
Yeah, my day pretty much starts out with email, same as he said. Then it's just going to site visits, surveys, reviewing details, site reports, and then coming back to the office, doing some emails if possible. If not, getting home, getting the son to bed, and then doing some more emails before I go to sleep.
Yeah, I basically have to follow up with, I review all the reports and surveys that go out the door. And then when we do have jobs, like I explained to you earlier, do have a re-roofing job. I do the specs and get the drawings done and the bid package put together to put out the bids for contractors.
Awesome.
Not every day.
Yeah. Now, I know sometimes you work together and sometimes it's just you send Pierce out. Has there been any project that maybe you've worked together on that you're especially proud of or enjoyed a lot more than usual?
Well, we work together on almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
The new construction of apartment buildings or office buildings that we are hired to be the building envelope consultant in quality control, not quality control, but QA inspections. But we've, I don't know, we've done quite a few good jobs. And if you want to talk one that's more professional, I guess call it
Challenging.
project that we worked on that professionally that I thought that was pretty good. Of course, I'm going to tell you now, the last year when we did six warehouses under one contract, which was pretty enormous. And then I really liked that several years ago, we had to re-roof a building downtown. If anybody remembers the old Equitable building down on 100 Peachtree, we had to re-roof that thing, and the thing was already floating in water between the membrane and the deck. And and there was no slope in the concrete deck. And we had like 4 drains on the main roof and 2 in the cooling towers sump roof. And so we had to figure out how we were going to tear this roof off, keep it watertight while we had water floating on the roof, and we were going to tear it off and get it all put together to drain. So it took a little bit of thinking and talking to some of the manufacturers, some things, new materials that were available that we could use to make this, I guess we call a safe, very efficient new roof system. So I really enjoyed that one, because anytime something comes up that's really hard to do and you are able to do it, and it comes out a pretty damn nice job, we really enjoy that.
And mine probably that one was definitely a interesting one that I liked. I'm dealing with a lot more of the building envelope side, where Dad does the detail review, and I'll also do it also. But the I think it was Echo Lakes. It was probably one of the first ones that I mainly handled myself. Dad would show up on occasion when he got bored. But it definitely had a metal roof clubhouse that was arced all the way around with tapered panels, trying to make sure the whole system came together, along with the wall flashings. And the buildings overall was probably one of my favorites, just because I pretty much handled it myself for the first time and could understand the feeling that most consultants have after, when they walk away and they're proud of the building that they see that they helped construct. And I understood more of my dad's stories all the time when we riding around, and he's pointing at, see that building right there? I remember that building back in '78, blah, 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 about how great it turned out or how horrible it was going through. It was really enjoyable experience.
So what kind of building is Echo Lakes? Is that like a golf club or a golf or?
It's this one was an apartment building with multi-use.
Okay. Getting your cheat sheet out there, Chip.
Yep.
Well, my next question is about mentors. If you've had any, and who they were and what kind of things they might have taught you along the way.
Well, my first, I wouldn't say it's a mentor, but it's in the marketing sales side, and that was Bob Lyons. We worked together at PSI, and he was, I guess, called my mentor for his advancing in the field of marketing and sales, and something that you have to do. You got to learn to be able to do it fairly well, especially then when you get on your own. You're not a big company; you're just your self entity. And I have called and used other consultants across the Southeast ever since I have been a member. They have all come to help me when I had to have a problem I couldn't figure out myself, and I would call them, and they would give me some insight on maybe what things to do. And I appreciate all of them back then. Mr. Cannon, called him quite often up in South Carolina, and talked to, which is one of my good friends, Brian Gardner when he was used to be in the business, and talked to him a lot about some of the stuff. So all those consultants that were in the RCI back in those days basically mimicked me to a certain extent.
Was there anything particular that they taught you?
Well, yeah, they would throw things out that I never thought about doing on certain projects, you know, or how to assemble it properly, and a lot of times it was into wind uplift, and I'm trying to think. Drainage wasn't a problem, but a lot of times it was just screwy details, didn't know how to handle. You always get to a building sometimes that has something that just doesn't look right, and you've got
Right.
and it's been a failure while the new roof was on. So you got to figure out how to better make that watertight. So that's the main things.
See, and with me, it's, well, definitely my dad foremost. But all the other consultants that I've met around, ranging from Mike Clark, David Hahn, Sid Hankins. As my dad said, if I ever had a question about certain area, certain type of roof, dealing with metal or dealing with something up in Virginia, or I knew a consultant in the area that would understand or be able to answer a question that I had. That's the one thing this community's always been really good about is it's like a family. If you need help or need something else, you call someone, they're more than happy to help you.
Awesome.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Don't want to get anybody. And also, I called Sid Hankins a lot too.
Yeah.
He's right up the road, 2 hours. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So you gentlemen have been part of this association for quite a while. Are there any core values that you feel are important to you that you want to make sure people understand that's who you are?
Well, it's part of also, you know, how you've been brought up over your life, and core values: honesty, trust, and respect for others. And also, don't forget your family's number one.
Yep.
I agree with all those points, including dependability and reliability. A client wants to know that when they call you, they'll be able to get the services they need. But also, one thing I learned from my dad once, which one of my favorite stories was when I first started working for him, and I'm sitting in my office, he's sitting in his, and we have a client in Texas call and say he wants us to come out and do a survey on his buildings. And I hear my dad go, "Well, we'll be more than happy to do it for you, but I know some perfectly good consultants in Texas that'll cost you a lot less than we would for flying out there. And I'll be more than happy to give you their number. They'll take care of you. But if you want us to do it, we'll be more than happy to." And Dad gave him the information and then hung up. And I just remember yelling across there, "Did I just hear you giving away work?" And he said, "Son, it's about taking care of the client. I know good consultants that will take care of him, that will save him some money now." And he will hopefully remember that later and, you know, come back to us for more work. But it's always this business has been bought on or built on taking care of the clients. It's not just about the money that you make. It's about the quality of the product that you're giving your client and making sure they're happy and you're happy with it at the end.
Awesome. So between the two of you, I know you each are going to have a different answer here, but what's been your greatest accomplishments?
Oh man, that's good. That's a good thing. I had several things down, but I forgot. No, the thing is, the first thing that I picked a great wife to put up with me. But anyway, accomplishments and things that 94 first convention in San Antonio. I got my RRC at that convention.
Awesome.
And I loved it to death. And March of '07, the first convention in Shingle Creek. I love that place. I still do. Some people says, "Oh, we should go somewhere else." Why go somewhere else? Everything's there.
Well, and
You know?
you're a golfer, right? And that's like the perfect paradise
Oh,
for
yeah,
you.
it's right there sitting for you, and you got all those pools, you know, and there's something there right there. My wife's down there by the pool all the time. I didn't have to worry about where she's gonna be. So,
Yeah.
but it's just a great place. I just love it to death. And what was it? I went down with the October of the year before in '06 with Birdsong down to go check it out. And Karen was down with us, working with the staff, working out stuff. And we were able to play around the golf. He asked me how he thought it. And I said, it's difficult as hell. And we got to meet everybody. And I said, man, this is going to be great. This is going to be a great place to be. And it is, and has been. And I would think will still always be if we keep going. So Mr. What's his name? The owner,
Mr.
Rosen,
Rosen.
met him very much so, and quite a young old man. He still jumps out of airplanes.
Yeah.
I just met him after he went back to the 82nd Airborne up there at was it Fort Bragg in Fayetteville,
Mm-hmm.
and went and jumped with him again. I'm going, you're crazy. He said, oh no. I mean, it's the greatest thing you can do, and all this stuff. So anyway, but yeah, there's when you say, well, I took a lot of courses. That's the one thing that RCI back then did for us. They developed I took the first class in '93 of roof consulting 1, roof consulting 2, and after 2, you had the exam.
Right.
The day on Sunday, the day after. I mean, we had Friday, Saturday, and took the exam on Sunday. And it really was the greatest thing because it got you refreshed your mind to go into the exam. It kind of rehearsed everything for you. And I thought it was better. And it's still, we do the best of educating our members. I mean, we throw out everything to them. And now that we're enveloped, we're involved in everything now as far as the building goes. So it is quite amazing. And anybody in the engineering architecture field that wants to specialize in some enclosure things, they got the institute to do it for them. So
yeah. Pierce, how about you? What's one of your greatest accomplishments?
Personally, somewhat same as my dad. Probably meeting and marrying my wife. She actually puts up with a lot of the traveling and all that I got to do. And also the birth of my son is probably number 1 and 2 on personal. Professional, becoming vice president of our company, vice president and CFO, and finally moving up from just my dad's employee to his equal, where we'll go back and forth at times, thinking each other's right. Whereas I used to, just let him take the lead. That, and then getting my RO was really nice, and my exterior wall observer also, because it actually gave me a leg to stand on in the industry besides just my dad's name, which, when I go to conventions, is pretty much the way I get recognized or get known.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chip's son. I know your dad.
Yeah. Speaking of convention, any favorite convention memories? I know, Chip, you kind of were talking about Rosen Shingle and visiting pre-convention, but is there anything that's ever happened at a convention that that stands out in your memory?
No, not like I said, the '94 when I got my RC, and then the Shingle Creek one when it first started. But no, I can't really think anything.
Besides the year you were president?
I was going to say, what about the year you were president? Was that pretty nice? Where did you end up for your convention that year?
I enjoyed it. I really did. we did a great accomplishment of getting our RCI's, what is it called? Our our standing on co-op construction and roofing
Right.
square foot basis, that was going on and is still going on. And we put together our opinion to be sent out to the press and everybody else and all the other institutions and where we stand. And we've come a long way with it. I with God, I'm trying to think of this now. We basically stopped the county that I live in, and one of the other, it just goes by my mind. But anyway, we stopped Cobb County from using it. I had a meeting with their purchasing people, and kindly explained to them really what was going on and what they were involved in. And we had a few things in our pocket that they didn't know we had. So they stopped doing it. And if we can go, and we told everybody then when we did that, anybody that wants to get together and meet with us and see if we could challenge in your community if they're doing it or whatever, we'll be glad to. So so I don't know where it's gone from there. It's kind of been kind of quiet, but it was pretty successful though to be able to at least get one.
Mhm. Pierce, you have a favorite convention memory?
I think mine was, I think it's 2014, San Antonio, I believe it was 2014, because it was my first convention. After hearing all the stories all these years, my dad, me slaving while dad's gone off to education, and enjoy the company of everyone there. I finally got to go and meet all the other consultants and really hear all their stories, the war stories, the good stories, just see them just enjoy this industry and what it brings them as far as happiness and fulfillment. It probably the best experience.
Yeah, I believe that was my first convention too. Were you always wearing a black hat, cowboy hat at that one? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Black cowboy hat or black baseball cap, one of the two.
Yeah. All right. So, if you could go back in time or you could give advice to somebody that's just starting out, what advice would you give them about the building enclosure and getting involved in work in the building enclosure?
Well, what I've told some of these young architects that we have coming to our convention, when I could trap them in one of the after hour events,
Yeah.
is number one, get experience. Number two, don't mind getting help from any member of IBEC for as what your thoughts are, how do you do it, this kind of thing to help you get along. And if it's possible, pick out a specific knowledge you want to go into, brand a part of building envelope and specialize in it. Because I believe that architects that are general architects, they're good. But a lot of the young people go into general architecture, find out how they're all of a sudden they're draftsmen, still really thinkers about stuff. And if they specialize in one side of it, they might be better off from a business end than they would be working for a large architectural firm. So specialize.
Pierce?
Mine would be that this is a great industry to get into. The amount of growth I've seen since just I've joined is amazing. I'm sure my dad and Bob Lyons and all the rest of them back when they were in their 30 or 40 consultant days would never have imagined the size that we've grown to. And that, as my dad said, never be afraid to ask other consultants questions or for help. We all don't know everything. Certain situations apply to certain areas, certain regions. People seen certain things. Like, I can't count the number of times that my dad and I have gone up on a roof back in the days, and he could tell me, I can tell you what it is, when it was put down, and who did it, before he even actually put feet on the roof, just stuck his head over the edge. So the knowledge that they have comes in handy a lot. I think that's about it. That the group here is, as I said earlier, about taking care of the clients, and that's what we're all here for. So ask for help, get all the education you can, ask questions, because we all help each other.
Now, you guys have a pretty unique situation, father and son working together. Did you plan it that way? And what's your long-term plan? Are you transitioning? What are you guys thinking about in the future?
Well, since I'm the old one, who should have retired a long time ago, but
Oh, sure.
just so happens to like what I'm doing. Then when my son came in the business, I talked him into it. I just called him and told him, look, I need you to come home and go to work with me. I said, my back is gone handling this ladder on and off this damn truck. So anyway, it was, I didn't know how he would really want it. He worked with me some while I was in school. He would go help me do takeoffs.
Ladders, core cuts, yeah.
Do the ladder man for me. We go up there and measure the roofs and do takeoffs on details and that kind of stuff. He helped me do that back when he was younger. And I hadn't taught him to core cut yet, but he learned real quickly though.
Now, what's a takeoff and I think I know what a core cut is, but
well, a takeoff's when you take a detail and you draw it as it exists, measure it. What metal
Measurement, unit placement.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that when you go back to add more insulation, when you re-roof it, it changes the detail and height and what you need to do with metal and all that kind of stuff. But metal edges, base flashings, curb flashings all change. And so you have to go up there and take measurements. And that's what I call takeoffs. And anyway, main thing is I don't know. I wanted to leave him something that he has further on when I quit, and have something he can grab on and take it, and then maybe hire another person to come in and work with him or two. I just told myself when I opened my little branch and doing it myself, and I've had several workers, one person workers over the years before him, and that I did not want to be a big time branch. I mean, roof consultant firm. I didn't want a lot of employees.
mm-hmm.
I just wanted one or two, and being able to do it without having to hire a secretary. My CPA is my wife. she's the tax woman. So
Yeah.
She gets all that stuff together at the end of the year. She teaches Pierce how to code the expenses and everything. So he does all the bookkeeping now, basically, which is on the computer. So, QuickBooks is good. And, but, kind of talked about. So I want it there for him to he can do his own thing later. And then I go out of the picture. And completely, I don't know.
No,
I might give him a lot of advice, but so
he will go stir crazy if he just quits completely.
Well, I can't play Harley golf anymore, so so that's a killer right there.
Right.
So,
well, I think Dad's always had the hope that I would take it over, and the investment. Not just high school and helped me through there, but college. Telling me that if I wanted to, it was here. And I don't think I was ever quite sure till I really started working with him and just enjoying it. People ask, how do you like being a waterproof consultant or a roof consultant? And my first question is, well, you like puzzles? Because if you don't, it ain't the business for you. There's some days you go home scratching your head where the water's coming from, and it'll eat you up till you find it.
Yeah.
And eventually that'll cycle out more, but he'll always be a part of it. He'll never fully retire. I'll need his knowledge. I'll need his brain. As I told him, if I could just keep the head alive, put it in the jar and just keep,
Cryogenics, right?
yeah, that would be fine with me.
Kind of like Walt Disney.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
I hope to do the same thing with my son someday.
Yeah.
That keep it going and keep clients happy. And when he gets old enough, either one, he'll be going into the construction field more than likely, or into the medical field, depending on which side of the family he goes after.
Right, because your wife's a nurse, right? No, or is she? Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, last but not least, what are your hobbies and interests, and how do you spend your free time?
I don't anymore. I have free time, but I don't do much. With my back and my knees, I basically can't hardly play golf. So no distance. My legs give out on me early. So I might go play some. I play a little bit maybe once in a while. I haven't hit one in 6 months. So I've been telling the weather's finally gotten real good. So I'm going to go out there and see if I can hit it. Because we have the golf tournament out at Phoenix. So I like to always still go out there and be a contribution. Though the short game, I can chip and putt.
Yeah,
But don't expect me to hit it long. Because
that's right. You have to live up to your namesake too, Chip Ward, right?
But I still try to keep things around the house going, and I can't cut grass anymore. So I got a yard man now. So I got rid of my lawnmower. But
watching sports. He watches a lot of sports.
The what?
You don't play a lot of sports, but you watch a lot of sports.
Oh yeah.
You make that up.
Well,
That's what we're missing now.
Who's your team? Who's your team, Chip?
Huh?
Who do you root for?
What do you think?
Let's see.
I'm sitting here cussing at the Braves right now. They finally won one in the ninth inning, in the bottom of the ninth. Their relief pitching stinks. So, but they're the main ones. I mean, I follow them all, the Falcons, and I even got interested in United now, the soccer team.
Yes, yeah.
I watch some of it occasionally. It's very fascinating. It's quite a fast game. So, I really can't tell you. I spend a lot of time down here in my office, doing things. What I enjoy doing is talking to some of the consultants sometimes, about, like I said, about field of work and what we're doing and some things. The changes that's been made in the last 10 years is unbelievable. I remember back in the 80s, we thought the greatest things was gypsum board coming to market. And now we have spray adhesives, low-rise foam adhesives. We got all kinds of, got membranes with daggone fleece back on the bottom. We got one that's by a manufacturer that interlocks with the insulation. And, you don't need any of these. It's quite remarkable. And so right now they're going to have trouble getting it, but that's, and the prices are all going up. So I don't know what we're going to do with this. They're going roofs I got to do specs on, but that's the way it goes. So, anyway, what was it I was going to say? You really try, I don't know, not what I'm talking about, but you really try to make a difference in the field of work you're in. You hope to be able to help other people, other consultants, or anybody else in the industry try to achieve what they want to do, and hopefully give something to the industry that we have, and by your work. So, like we always talked about, just We taught, be truthful to your clients, take care of them. If you got any problems, you bring it out to them, and just bid your base based on your honesty and your trust and your respectability. So.
Very good. Pierce, anything you'd like to add about your hobbies and interests? Are you a movie guy?
Oh yeah, always love movies. But I'm pretty much all around. I like sports. I like boating. I like fishing. Don't do as much as I used to anymore with work. Luckily, being busy, and my son being only 1.5, pretty much occupies generally my entire week. But both my dad and I both like taking vacations when can, because when you work hard, you need to take some downtime or else you get yourself burned out. But yeah, that's about it. Try and just do a little something each weekend to make myself happy, or make my wife and I enjoy the weekend if we can. If it's going out on the boat, hopefully going swimming soon since it's getting warmer.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. You've done such a great job of profiling yourself and telling us all about your experiences, and you've been a great special Father's Day edition of our IBEC member profile. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. Hope it don't get everybody thinking of different things about us when they read this.